Medic 42, respond emergent to psychiatric patient.
$20 said he's gonna be butt-ass naked.
Oh, there you have it. It's a draw. Shirt, no pants. That's like Winnie the Pooh. Mike, you gonna let me drive today?
No. I will. You heal.
I should mention at this point that you're all going to die.
Heart attack, car accident, fork in the toaster, or peanut allergy.
Drowning's the worst way to go. Best way to die? Decapitation. You guys ever see anyone choke to death?
All we want to do is save your life. Some of you don't make it easy.
Get out of my house! Gun!
I know you can run that fast. Most people on this job can't last a year. They can't hack it.
Take my dollar, you mother...
You are senior, you get the student.
No.
Is there another paramedic I should put them with? Somebody better than you?
Nobody's better than me.
Let's hit it.
Why are you here?
Because I want to save lives. You have people's lives in your hands. How can you not care?
I'm burning out. The whole system is broken.
I need the hell out of EMS.
I'm quitting.
That's it. I'm out of here.
Please don't go out like this.
You gonna miss me? We're just co-workers, man. You act like I'm like your best friend. Damn it, I'm his best friend.
Can you feel the... I got into EMS because I really wanted to help people.
Officers, we've got this totally under control.
But this is a job.
Oh, come on! Come on!
You clock in, you clock out.
I don't think you really believe that.
Can you feel the...
I'm the President of the United States!
Mr. President, let's Secret Service, man. We're here to evacuate you and take you to the White House.
What about the First Lady and the Vice President?
We're going to send a second chopper.
She's been having a little trouble breathing lately.
Define lately.
All right. So welcome, everyone. Very excited to have Patrick Pianezza join us and Christopher Leone to talk about their new movie out, Code 3. And this comes out in theaters. Oh, my gosh. It's almost time, right? We're ready.
Yeah.
We're ready. So go today. Go today. We should tell everyone to go today. And that's through Aura Entertainment. So, Christopher, I want to start with you. What led you to this story of Code 3 and getting Rainn Wilson on, right? Telling the story of a burnt-out paramedic and his buddy.
Well, this is all Paul Pianezza's fault, which is Patrick's brother. Paul and I used to work together. We've been friends for a long time. And one of the things when you're a filmmaker, people try to get you to read stuff. And he said, hey, do you want to read a script my brother wrote? And I said, not really, no. And he said, no, I think you'd like it. It's a comedy about paramedics. And I said, what does your brother know about paramedics? And he goes, he is a paramedic. So then I met Patrick, and then I started talking to Patrick, and Patrick was so full of stories about what the job of a paramedic really is. It turned my understanding of the job completely inside out. It was completely fascinating to me and harrowing. And the fact that Patrick chose to tell it as a comedy really blew my mind, because I think it was that comedy told the truth to him was so interesting. And so as we started developing it together and delving deeper and deeper into it, finding that to represent the job was very funny and very stressful and like very high energy situations, but then also sometimes kind of devastating. And so our goal was really to try to capture the truth of that and show what the job was really like and try to be medically accurate as possible so that anybody, any paramedic, any EMS worker could watch the movie and go, oh my God, they got it right.
I think this is so crucial. And for those who have been picked up by a paramedic, that sounds good. Visited by a paramedic has some, well, I think we all want to say thank you, but it is such an not unforgiving, but a thankless job sometimes, I think. So Patrick, on this side, so you were also like technical advisor on this, right? On not only the screenwriter, but also to say, no, this wouldn't happen in the ambulance, right?
Yeah, we had an amazing partnership. Like Chris had mentioned, we've been working on this for 10 years. And so the friendship is very strong. And so whenever somebody would do something that looked off, I would kind of nudge Chris and say, hey, you may want to consider doing this again because the hand was in the wrong place, and people like me would notice that that's incorrect. And so that was amazing to be a part of, and to be on set and witness these incredible professionals and artists do their work was mind-meltingly awesome.
Well, it really is, we always talk about that story of the day in the life of, and this is like a day in the life or a couple more days in there, but of a paramedic who is burned out, who wants to get out. But I think that in the comedy is so crucial because the comedy always gives us that little relief and is a way for us to deal with reality. And if we don't have comedy in life, we're like, I just bless all the comedians out there right now because they're all in trouble somewhere. All getting in trouble. But I think the beginning, when you show how much and how much people are making in the medical industry, and then how little like paramedics are making in comparison, yet they're saving lives. I thought that was just like such an eye opener. And, the medical system is not the easiest. So Patrick, is that part of why you wanted this to be a story, is for people to have some compassion and understanding on the actual financials too?
Yeah, the goal was never to have people feel sorry for the provider there, but just to shine a light to understand the struggles that go on. And EMS is by far one of the most underpaid services that has such a high skill set. There's lots of roles within healthcare broadly that are lower paid with lower skill sets. But when you talk about EMS and the paramedic level, the level at which we have to be able to perform and the level of training and education required, and see the reflection of what that relates to in pay is, I hope, shocking, but also very realistic. And while I don't have the solution for it, like many themes that go on in this film, I'm happy to highlight the problem without being so bold as to tell you that I know what the solution is. But we cannot move forward without putting a spotlight on this and saying we have to value these people more than what their paycheck is reflecting. But it's also that push and pull of the people doing the job, by and large, are doing it for the right reasons and not the pay, but we have to be able to make that equitable.
Exactly. And so much that they go through. I mean, when you look at it starts off with the lady with the heroin overdose, right? And the vomit. And that actually, I remember when I was in high school in South Africa, they did advertising campaigns on say no to drugs. This is what you're going to look like, barf in a really dirty toilet area. And I went, I'm never doing drugs. That worked on me. And when I saw that today, I just went, see, I'm never doing it. It was like, oh my gosh, it is a truth, right? Barf goes everywhere and you can get it. It's like, that's the other thing. It takes you through all these different scenarios. And also what happens in the industry itself. Like there were parts in there where no one dies in an ambulance, even if they did, right? So Christopher, when you're putting this film together, did your eye open to some of these facts of what, the industry is like too? Just kind of like, wow, who knew,
No, 100%. I mean, look, I've watched TV my whole life. The paramedic is usually the character at the end of the movie wheeling the hero into the ambulance at the end. And, we're all used to these tropes. We all think we know what the job is, and we have no idea. And so, hanging out with a real paramedic and Patrick and I talking about this stuff, it completely blew my mind. But exactly that thing you just said about nobody dies in the ambulance. That was the thing Patrick just mentioned in passing one day. And I was like, what do you mean nobody dies in the ambulance? And he said, nobody ever dies in the ambulance. And I said, that's insane. People must die in the ambulance all the time. He said, no, never. Once we start working on you, we cannot stop until we get you to the hospital, no matter what. Even if they know there's no way you can survive this, they cannot stop working on you. And that was crazy to me. And like the movie's just full of that kind of detail and those kind of insights that, just flip my idea of the job upside down.
Yeah. And there's all these pulls and, pushes and pulls, like the students coming on and being the intern and traveling with, him. Rainn Wilson is just so crazy. He did such an awesome job. I mean, he's funny, but showing how the burnout, and yet here's this young student, this lady, here's her heartwarming story. And he's like, just get out of this now, run for the hills. But to be able to, you go on as a student. Did you do that, Patrick, as a paramedic, go in and have to just, here it is, first day on the job, and you're thrown in to all these different scenarios, and you think you're going to stand by, and next thing you know, you're in the thick of it, vomit, blood, all of it, craziness.
Totally. When you're in training, you have to do, I don't know what it is now. I mean, I went through class 20 plus years ago, but you were required to do so many clinical shifts on the ambulance. So you're there for at least 100 hours absorbing the knowledge and learning your skill sets. So you're with a full-time crew. So you're with the two people, and then you're the third person like Aimee is in our movie. But all of that is to make you better, sharpen your skills. So that way, when you do graduate, you have these skills to be able to perform them on your own. But yeah, that's exactly how it happened for me. My very first clinical rotation ever, I was in the emergency room and they just said, hey, they're working a code. Why don't you go check it out? And I said, okay. And I walked in, I opened the door, and the very first thing I saw was somebody getting shocked. He's, clear, boom, the guy flips off.
No way.
I was just like, this is the coolest job ever. And that's how I got hooked.
No, yeah, you're normal.
I'm well aware that I am on the other side of the bell curve for sure. No.
Yeah, no, see, I'm running when it's vomit. I can handle animal vomit, but human vomit's a whole other thing. I don't know what it is, but animals are allowed to snore. They're allowed to do anything disgusting on the human level, and they're fine. But so I'll go do the vet. I don't know if they have code 3 for animals, but I'll do that. But explain code 3, please, so people understand that too.
Yeah, code 3 is a universal radio jargon that just means I'm going somewhere emergently. So what you'll typically hear on the radio is I'm en route to the hospital, code 3. And all that means is I'm heading to the hospital with my lights and sirens on, and that this is the highest in my clinical decision. I think that this person needs to be in the hospital right now. And so it's the highest level of emergency response that we have. That's all.
Kind of, the movie too, there was a movie done years ago, I think in the late 80s maybe, with Michael Douglas, when the stress and burnout of life just did him in. Like he just wanted to take a baseball bat, and I think he did. It was set in LA.
Falling down.
Some guys, yeah. And some guys came to, like mug him or something. He was like, oh yeah. And okay, I got to watch my language, but like, I'll take you out because I don't care anymore. That's that level. That, it's just that intensity of burnout, and then how the emotion flips when, he goes and gets another job that he doesn't think that. So you have a lot of that high and low that happens also in our mental health, our emotional well-being. I think this film actually speaks to that in a very good way about what are people going through on a daily basis and how much can we take, or should we,
I think that's what's so fascinating about the job of being a paramedic is that there are times in the job that it's very boring. There's times in the job that you're laughing with your coworkers. There's times you go on bullshit calls, and then you can go and it'll call you to the most tragic thing, horrifying thing that'll never leave you for the rest of your life. And the fact that like this entire range of emotions can happen in one night, like makes for a great movie, I think, because you experience the full spectrum of emotions. And that was our goal. I wanted everyone to feel what it's like to be on board an ambulance and feel like you're the fourth paramedic riding along with these three, and you go through the ringer, like you see the entire thing. And it's really it can be very high energy and really funny and heartbreaking.
Yeah, and you can be twisted in between. I remember also in South Africa, my mom had a magazine there, and we did some typesetting. This is before Google existed. And one of her clients was the morgue down the street, and we did all their typesetting for funeral notices. Not a morgue, well, they would come in, and literally if they shook your hand, it was like this cold, damp hand that was limp. And he would go, oh, the weather's coming. There's going to be an uptick in business because storms are coming. So there's going to be more car crashes. And so their tagline for us, not in public, was, we're in the dead center of town. And this kind of humor, I mean, it's funny. It's deliciously funny. And yet I think it's the only way you make it through any of this is to be weird.
That's where, I think paramedics survive on gallows humor, right? I think you have to. Like, how do you cope with things without blowing off steam? Which is why I think it was a natural fit that the movie would embrace that, right? Like, the movie's funny and comes right out of that.
So it is out in theaters today. So everyone go check it out. When does it go digital? How long does that process take for people, do you think?
We don't know yet.
I'm not sure. I think it's, maybe. I don't know. I would encourage people to see it in the theater because having seen it out with audiences, it is amazing how seeing any movie with an audience, but this movie too, especially because it's got scenes of suspense and scenes that are very funny, and experience that with an audience and like hearing everybody laugh and feeling the tension go up in the room and feeling the heartbreak. It is amazing how that is. That's what movies can do and what being in a movie theater can do, and I think that's why I love going to the movies.
Yeah, it's a whole different. You get all the feels, and the sound is so much better. Come on now. It's awesome. Yeah. Absolutely. Patrick, thank you so much for writing this and doing all the work that you've done as a paramedic in life too. Because, you dealt with vomit and all of that. So honestly, hats off to that. Thank you so much, Christopher. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. It was a pleasure.
Take care, Lisa.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio. Keep up with our shows at bigblendradio.com.